It's Friday. I hope you had a decent week. It's Halloween as well. But what's more scary and spooky and terrifying than any of that is West Ham playing football. No two ways about it. That is very scary. Of course, we play Newcastle on Sunday at London Stadium, which is going to be, well, it's hard to put into it, isn't it, how important this game is in terms of West Ham just got to stop this rot. If we're going to have any chance of playing Premier League football next season, we've just got to start getting results now. There's just no other ways around, especially with fixtures coming up beyond the the international break. I'll come to transfers in a minute. We've got an update from ExWHUEemployee, but Newcastle and Burnley, next two games at home, are just so big. And we've just got to stop losing games. It's just as simple as that. I want to talk about the press conference that's come from Nuno, which I'm got to say, it's lifted me. I'm feeling a lot better after watching that than I was before, which is good. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Also got an update from ExWHUEemployee in terms of transfer news going into January. So we'll talk about that in a sec. Before I do, though, I want to draw your attention to Iron Threads. So Iron Threads is a shop that we work with. It's run by Tom. This is Iron Threads website here that you're seeing on your screens. Basically, we've got a lot of bits and pieces here that are for sale. I want to draw your attention to it because we've got a deal going on at the moment, 10% discount and all this sort of stuff going on here. We've got some new new polo tops, should I say, but there's a big range of those that have just come out. You've got caps, you've got bits and pieces. Now, I've got to be honest, I really love this shop. There's some lovely designs. And what I like about it is just slick. Do you know what I mean? And I think, with Christmas coming up, things like that, it's just something to certainly bear in mind. In terms of if you want to have a little bit of a spruce and a little bit of a spend up, then go and have a look. There's some lovely bits in there for, as I say, very easygoing, simple designs, but just nice, simple West Ham designs. And it's and it's obviously run by Tom, West Ham fan. Go and check it out. We've got a discount code for this, which is West Ham Way 10, which gives you a 10% discount. So go and check it out. It's Iron Threads. This is I'll leave in the details in the old description below. But I want to talk about, as I say, the main part of this video is to talk about Nuno and the press conference. Then we'll go on to the transfer stuff from X, which he brought out on the podcast on the West Ham Way Patreon. So in terms of Nuno, I've got to be honest, I found, I don't know about you, press conferences for quite some time at West Ham to be quite dire, quite uninspiring. It's been a long time since I felt like quite excited for a press conference at West Ham. I always find them quite tiresome. I find the questions quite repetitive, and just sometimes you don't really get a lot from it. If you go back to especially Nuno Espirito, I mean, they were just dreadful because he never really answered a question. He sort of just go off on tangents and never really made any sense. I thought it was really nice to get Graham Potter back, but the problems with Graham Potter, although obviously he could speak English, which was helpful, it just felt like it was just so calm and it was just so friendly and polite. After a while, it felt like not inspiring. Do you know what I mean? I never came away from it going, oh, I really fancy this. Do you know what? From this press conference we've had from Nuno, I'm not going to do it justice, by the way. And by the way, I'm not trying to say that I'm buzzing with excitement after seeing it, but I certainly felt better. I just felt that he was in a really bullish mood. And I think that's what you need. You need that kind of oomph. You need that toughness, that aggression that you're going to get. I think we need to see that. I think having this kind of trying to be nicey and trying to saying the old cliches, I think can become so tiresome. I just thought it was really good. So I'm going to sort of talk about a couple of things the answers he's done. So I say, if I was you, if you want to go and I said, I'm not going to do it justice. It's best to go and check it out yourself. It's on the official West Ham YouTube channel or their website to go and watch it. But this is what he said. He talked about by the way, this is what I want to talk about as well. The Sky Sports journalist, I'm not sure who it was. Typically, it's on mainstream media. You think they're very tiresome sometimes with their questioning, as I say, a little bit cliche. But I actually thought he was really good in terms of the journalist that was asking Nuno's questions, because he really pushed him on his tactics and said, why have you changed? Do you know what I mean? And I'm asking that question I've been dying to know from Nuno. Like, why have you moved away from what worked well at Everton? He said, it worked well at Everton. You've moved away from it. Why? And Nuno actually gave quite a good response. Well, when I say good response, he sort of indicated that there was more to it than we understand. He was basically saying, look, he said, yes, it was. He said, we're okay against Everton. He said, but it did not work at all against Arsenal, which I thought was a bit strange, because I thought, well, you're playing against a team that are going to, likely to win the league this season at their home ground. It's very difficult to sort of pin too much on that. But he said, "Oh no, other things have happened." He went, "I could talk for ages about what's been going on." So I thought, "Oh, okay." Anyway, this is what the official website. This is what they've sort of come back out of in terms of what Nuno said. So he said it's something that doesn't please us, and this is in terms of his tactics and team structures not working. I would have liked to find a solution earlier and stuck to it. I think we have to find a solution because it's not been working. We're still looking, and I hope that we can all solve this problem. There are many factors involved, but I honestly wish we could just stick with one solution and it would just click, and then we can all move forward. It's not easy for the players, and I hope that we can work to find the solution. So he's obviously indicating there that he hasn't found it yet, right? So, but what I'm leaning to in that, I've talked about it, obviously Ollie Scholes is out anyway. I get the feeling that he's going to abandon the Irving Souček midfield. I think that's going to be abandoned. He did mention that as well. It doesn't say it in here, but he did mention that in the press conference. As I say, it's worthwhile going back and watching it, and you can see it for yourself exactly everything he said. But he certainly did indicate that there's going to be a change for this Newcastle game, which is a huge relief, I mean, for everyone involved. He talks about on-field battles, so we're working really hard on that aspect. We're creating a dynamic in training, so we have more time to work on that. We have to improve how our players are performing, and we're working really hard. So he was referring to the individual battles and saying that each player, because the press were talking about Paqueta. I'm going to come to Paqueta in a second, but he was talking about, being the number 10, the importance of being number 10 and the importance of the role and winning those midfield battles. But he said, but every player's got a battle and they've got to win. But he said, but the central part of the midfield. But I quite liked it, the way he was talking in terms of the attitude of these players and how they got to start applying themselves going into this game. He was asking about his best 11. He said, the measure is when we come up against our opponents. And this is what I quite liked. He said, I'm feeling really positive at the moment because this week has been very long. The players have worked very hard and the sessions have been good. We've trained, but we've also analysed everything. On Sunday, we will see what we can do. I'm just feeling a bit better about things in terms of what I'm expecting on Sunday. I've been so down this week, like many fans, and dreading Sunday. And don't get me wrong, that hasn't gone. I'm not sitting there going, "Oh, I'm buzzing with excitement," but I've certainly got a little bit of a feeling that we're going to see an improvement. I do think we're going to see more from West Ham. And we've got to, haven't we? There can't be any more. We haven't got time now, a luxury of time of thinking we've got a bit more time to try and get this team to click. They've just got to go out there and fight. I think that's the first big hurdle of that. And then he talked about Lucas Paqueta. He said, I've spoken to him about many things. We need Lucas. I told him personally and the squad that being a number 10 is more than just a number. It's a symbol. That's what we need from Lucas. We need him to help his teammates because they trust him. We know that there is more to come from him and we need him as our number 10. So as you can sort of tell from what I'm saying there, it's like, in terms of what Nuno was saying, it was quite a bullish press conference. He was quite tough in things he was saying, quite big, and I liked it. I just liked it. I think, like, I said it about the Leeds game. Do you remember when he said, it's going to be a really tough opponent, really tough? All right, we lost, so he's got a point. But, when I said, like, I'd rather just be a bit like, we've got to go and win this game. I don't want to keep hearing that we're just so worried about every opponent and, oh, my God, it's going to be so hard, it's going to be tough. I want us to start being a bit more confident in ourselves and have a bit of belief in ourselves that we can go and win these games. And I just felt that there was a bit of a shift in this press conference. It felt like Nuno wanted to inject some of that enthusiasm, a bit of confidence into the fan base and everyone. We need that. We need to start believing. I thought it was very good. It's worthwhile having a watch of it. It's certainly the first press conference I've seen for a while where I felt a lot better after watching it. As I say, it's not like I was, not in need of a lift, because I think we all are. So I feel like he probably had that in mind, that he wants the fans to go to the stadium with a bit more belief. But go and check it out. Go and watch it. Let us know what you think. Put it in the comments. But I certainly feel more confident that we're going to see a better performance from West Ham against Newcastle. Yes, I know. Fast forward on Monday or Sunday, whatever, and it'll be 4-0 loss or something. But no, I'm feeling better. I obviously hope that's not the case, but you know what I mean. I'm feeling certainly better from seeing what Nuno had to say. Right, let's go on to ExWHUEmployee then on the news update in terms of players that we are, certainly one player at the moment we're being linked with. So I'm just going to read you out the what X has reported, okay, and what came out on the West Ham Way website earlier today. West Ham will have a remit to spend in January as the club desperately try and avoid relegation from the Premier League. It has been reported by ExWHUEmployee. Following what's been a dreadful opening quarter of the Premier League season, with West Ham looking at present nailed on for a drop to the Championship come May, the club are now hoping that the January transfer window will be the saving grace to retain our Premier League status. Nuno Espirito Santo has been brought in, replacing Graham Potter. It says David Moyes there, so that's wrong. However, he has mustered just 1 point in the 4 matches he's been in charge thus far. Reporting on the West Ham Way podcast this week, the Club Inside X advised that the club are setting up a budget for the new boss in terms of budget for the January, in the hope that it will be enough to turn around what is a dire situation in East London. This is what X said. He said there will be a budget to spend in January with a striker and a defender seen as the key priority. We understand that the club are not going to appoint an external head of recruitment with a view of working from within. This then goes on further to talk about the targets themselves. So although January is some weeks away, X did advise on the recruitment with the Belgian leagues currently in particular interest. The club are quite rightly identifying targets now, and we believe that there are players who play in Belgium that we are now showing significant interest in. This is from X. I can report that Romeo Vermont, a striker from Club Bruges, is someone the club are looking at. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about targets at the moment, I'm going to be honest, because it just feels a bit too early, doesn't it? And Nuno did say that, by the way, in the press conference, which I thought was quite a good response. They were sort of trying to lean towards January, like what your plans for January. He's just like, I don't want to talk about January, so I'm really not interested at the moment. He said it's a long way off. We're working with what we've got here. We've got to get these players, get a tune out these players. So that's kind of where my mind's at as well. I don't want to get too dragged into January. I think once we get, midway through December, then that starts becoming more prominent and get clear, and hopefully, fingers bloody crossed, we're in a position where we are able to go and spend some money in the hope that we can stay up. Because at the moment, if you look at our fixtures, it's just so dire. Do you know what I mean? It really is dire, and yeah, I'm fearful that when we get to January, we're just going to be so far off of it, especially with the fact that other teams are fighting around us. You know what I mean? It is really worrying. So, that's where things are at the moment. I'm looking forward to actually seeing what your thoughts are on the old Nuno press conference, because I'm certainly feeling a bit better for it, and I want to carry this feeling. I don't want to keep going into games, and I don't want to be going over the Sunday flat and feeling, expecting a defeat. I want to get behind the team. I really hope that they can deliver for us. And it certainly feels like there's a lot of work's gone in this week at the training ground, and I just feel like it's time for Nuno to deliver now. And let's hope he does. Anyway, look, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll do another video tomorrow, and of course there'll be the team news on Sunday morning. All right, have a good one. I'll catch you later. Come on your hands.